Hi, I'm Stephen Tracey. I play Sergeant Reese in Invasion, and you're watching Pop Culture with Pat.
Hey guys, welcome back to Pop Culture with Pat. I'm so excited to be joined by today's guest. Today I am talking to Stephen Tracy, who plays Sergeant Reese in Apple TV's Invasion. Stephen, thank you so much for your time today.
Oh, thank you for having me.
Yeah, you're very welcome. So, the first question that I wanted to ask you, because this series, it's been filmed all over the world. It has such a massive scope. So, what was it like just joining a series that is on this level, so big?
I think first of also the studio behind it is also one of the biggest players, and the Emmys were last night. I'm not sure when this is going to come out, but the Emmys were
Yeah.
last night, and Apple TV Plus did a very good job at sweeping some of the awards. So I think like coming into not only like such a great studio, but the show itself really does have like a global expansion. And I think it kind of is one of the best things to do as an actor, is to enter a space that has so much of a built world because there's like lots of things that you can pull from to like help create your character or help inform your choices. And it's one of the more unique sci-fi shows that are out there because it does actually look at a global perspective. And like the first season shot in Japan, Morocco, the UK, and I think New York, and then it shot in South Africa for the second season, and then it was in BC. So it's really taken the show globally, and it is a story that is global. So it can feel daunting at first, but everybody was so lovely and welcoming. And I think the main thing is just that there was so much attention to detail and the story and how they've set up this invasion that there's lots to play with.
And you saying that Apple being, and they are one of the biggest streamers out there right now. So did you know pretty much from like day one of you stepping on the sets that it just had a different feel, the set to it?
100%. And it's not like I went in with that preconceived notion. It was literally the second that I stepped foot on set, which was a tarmac, and there were helicopters, like two helicopters that were like raising and lowering, and they were real, they were functioning, they were doing their thing. And I was like, oh, okay. Because a lot of the times you don't know how much the production is going to invest in the script, in practical effects, because you can do so much with CGI that you never know what's really going to be there on the day, and you never really know what is uh is gonna be created in post. And we arrived and there was many helicopters. There was like over 100 background. I think there was like six cameras going at once, and we just started doing the scenes which aired last Friday. And I mean another one was that same episode. We were in the helicopter and doing some dialogue stuff. And I would have assumed that, like, we would have just created our own body movement just to simulate the idea that we were in the air, thinking about in the mind's eye what you're looking at when you're talking about things, because there's a window.
Yeah.
Turns out that they brought us to a studio that had a 60-foot 180 LED screen that was showcasing the horizon that we were flying over. So you didn't even have to imagine it. You were literally looking out at trees that were passing you by. Like it's not like they were just stationary as well. Like we were moving with it. And
Yeah.
it was on a gimbal. So the gimbal was moving us back and forth. So we didn't even have to like simulate motion. It was all there, which is like the best gift because you're just reacting at that point from a storyteller POV.
Yeah.
But it created the ultimate playground for make believe. And not a lot of productions put that amount of detail into their practical effects like Apple TV Plus does. So
Yeah.
it was pretty magnificent.
No, I mean, yeah, like you were saying, and I feel like it makes it so much easier for you guys to have something there to actually react to versus having to react to something like a tennis ball or something like that. I mean, granted, you guys can
Mhm.
do it, you're professional actors, but it makes it so much easier and just immerses you guys really in that world.
Yeah, you don't have to do so much work in the imagination. You're just there, and it just leaves room for a lot more to come in that you aren't having to artificially create. And I'm not gonna lie, this show is about aliens, and so I
Yeah.
assumed there would be a lot of that. And funny enough, there wasn't. Even when we had, even when there are aliens present, we had uh, certain structures of what the alien looked like in its actual anatomically correct size, like parts of it to look at and to focus on. So we were really looking at the thing that we were supposed to be fighting.
Focusing on. Yeah, and I mean, joining a series too, a couple seasons in, that isn't always the easiest thing because some of these guys, they've been working together for a while. So, how was the cast and crew? How did they welcome you to the series?
There are some pretty prolific people on this show, and it would be really easy to fall into the Hollywood stereotype of being that A-lister who comes in and leaves. But this cast, maybe it was because we were going on a mission together, like that make believe brought us closer in real life, but there was such a camaraderie between everybody, and the main cast have become some of like the closest people. We would really get together a lot. And I think one of the most magical things for me, Erica Alexander joined as a series regular this year, and I remember watching her. I was in LA at the Americana, going and seeing American Fiction and seeing that movie and just thinking to myself, I would really love to work with people like this one day. And like a month later, I auditioned for Invasion, booked the show, and then I learned that she was on it. And it just became this like really beautiful synchronistic moment. And then thinking, holy crap, I'm about to meet one of my heroes, and ended up being warm, welcoming, like kind, and just a wealth of knowledge that was like willing to share whatever she had learned and wanted to uplift every single person on that set. So there was not a dud in the bunch.
Yeah, I was gonna
And
say.
maybe no, sorry, what?
Oh, I was just gonna say, like, and that could be. I feel like you're saying one of your heroes. That can be kind of scary sometimes too. The whole saying like you don't meet your heroes kind of thing. So I'm sure you're maybe a little bit nervous, like, oh no, like I've looked up to this person. What if they're not what I expected? So I mean, that must have been such a relief just for her to be so welcoming and willing to share her knowledge with you.
Yeah, it was. And I definitely had like moments where I was just like trying to be cool and I for sure put my foot in my mouth and she let it slide. She moved on. We continued to bond and have fun. And I mean, another one for me was Eric Lang because I Lost was my favorite show of all time,
Yeah.
and he was in season 5, played Radzinski, I think, and getting to meet him, I definitely had some sweaty palms and like the up and down heartbeat. And it took me a while to like actually approach him and be like, hey, I'm a huge fan. But another lovely, gracious, talented, hardworking actor, phenomenal. He really transforms in his parts. And he would not believe that he is as kind as he is off camera based on the way that he is on camera. He's
Yeah.
pretty hard hitting in
That's
the show.
that's so cool though. I'm glad that you got to work with some people that you've really looked up to on this series, Steven. And for you and your character, Reese, what was kind of the process for you to kind of get into this character? What I imagine there's probably some trainings that you guys had to do, or was there anything else that you did to kind of get into this character's mindset for the series?
The show, the production really, like I said before, put an emphasis on practical effects, which is very surprising for a sci-fi show. They put us through many rounds of weapons training so that because we're playing soldiers in a special forces unit, so they wanted to make sure that our body language, how we were holding the guns, what we were doing was coming off from some type of knowledge that it wasn't just willy-nilly. We had like veterans train us, the armorists were vets, and we were actually shooting blanks on set because it created a kickback and you could see a little bit of like the pop off that comes.
Yeah.
And that that put us into the world so much more because when you're there and you actually like are firing and there's no repercussions, which is the best part because not a huge fan of speed with,
Yeah,
but the sense of make believe just gets so heightened that it creates an ability that you don't always get when you're just kind of like going in your mind, you
yeah,
know? And I think it's actually kind of funny that there's some actors out there who on other things that I've worked on when they have a gun that they make the noise when it doesn't have the act when it doesn't actually fire where they're like pew 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 pew.
that's
But
great.
all of that training kind of enforced my character POV because Reese is, I would say, one of the greener soldiers in the bunch, and entering a space where like I've never been to war, obviously, I've never been a soldier, I've never served for my country, um, but I'm playing someone who has chosen to do so and is on the newer side of things. So there's like that parallel need for me as an actor to be in a new environment and to be proficient and to be able to do these things. And so then that translated into that character who's in a new environment, who wants to be proficient, who doesn't want to like try to show how scared he actually is. He's pushing it down, trying to like maintain some type of bravado. So it was like that 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 duality of this is new and I'm scared, but like I don't want anybody to know that. So
Yeah.
like those two things come, and then in the same time, like as an actor, you're entering like a really huge show on one of the biggest uh, streaming platforms of all time, and those two those two trajectories kind of became synonymous with each other. So like real life was enforcing, and like as we got on and as we got more and more training, you get more confident too. So like I think that was a lot of fun subtleties that I got to play with the character.
Yeah, as I say, as an actor, I mean, I'm sure that's probably a dream just to be able to have that much material to be able to play with a character like this. And for at least, what we've seen in the season, what were some of your favorite elements that you saw translate going from script to screen?
I guess I'm like not really allowed to say much until it airs, so it kind of depends on when this is going to come out. But there's I like there's the like on my very first day, I got to talk to one of the producers, and she said we have a lot in store for you, and she was not wrong. There are so many incredible practical stunts and effects and sequences littered throughout the season that I'd be hard pressed to just like say one. I think the thing that I am most excited about to see in its like full capacity is just this is one of my first experiences shooting action sequences. And from an actor POV, you have to get so much coverage because in order to create the tension and the momentum of the moment, you need a lot of cut points. And so it's like you got to cut from boom, 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 because all of this stuff is building and like moving and it's getting fast. So there would be times where we were shooting the same scene for like 4 days.
Yeah,
And all of these different points where it's like I'm normally used to like two-hander dialogue scenes that you shoot in like a couple hours and then you move on. Whereas we would stay inside of moments for so long that in a sense it kind of felt like theater where you get to like let it go deeper and deeper and deeper. So I think like seeing how they put all of those things come like how they all come together and getting to watch the teaser trailer that was released, seeing some of those stunts, it kind of felt like oh, and like the way that it gets amplified to be so much more because they did so much of it practically. Um,
which I love.
so yeah, so I think seeing the final cut of how all of these sequences come together, and there's so many of them that I don't know that I could say I don't know that I could say one.
Well, I think it's a good tease for just for the season in general, I'd say, Stephen. And so I was going to kind of follow up with that, and maybe you're kind of going into it with that answer there, as far as like some of the more challenging aspects of bringing this series to life from the script. Would you say for you personally, was it some of more of the action-based sequences where this was something you were a little bit more new to?
The the I think the biggest challenge was, and this is gonna sound so silly, but earplugs. because we were firing ammunition, the safety has to be first, and part of that safety is your hearing, because like it's like 1/4 of a kickback from an actual rifle,
Yeah.
so it's not nearly as strong. But that also makes you look like you're more proficient, that you could just be like, yeah.
Yeah.
But the we would have to do when the guns would go live or they were hot, we would have to put earplugs in. But most of the time, we would be shooting a scene that led up to a gunfire. And so you'd have to maintain talking in a normal way. But the funny thing is that your listening is hindered.
Yeah.
Um, because you're just you your ears are plugged, but you have to act like your ears aren't plugged. So I think like finding that balance of being truthful in your performance, and it made you a better listener because you had to listen to your partner, but by reading their lips to make sure that you were doing your line on cue. I think that was probably like the biggest challenge. Coming into the project itself, I thought it was going to be all of the gun work and the way that we would move our bodies as pairs or as a unit. But we had such fantastic training that by the time that we would get to set, that really felt like second nature, because there'd be times where we were shooting and my gun would jam, and they had taught us how to do the tap rock thing, get the bullet unjammed so that you could continue and not botch the shot and keep going. And those were things that I was like personally scared to do, but it ended up
Yeah.
happening and everything was smooth, efficient. So um, yeah,
That's
I guess just seeing if
Oh, that's pretty, I mean, it's
sorry.
pretty funny. I mean, it's something that you don't, I guess, like kind of think about. And but yeah, just the ability of being able to, I mean, that's so important to be able to hear what someone is saying on these sets because there's so much going on. You don't want to, mess anything up or cause them having to reshoot something. So I totally understand,
Mhm.
that. Now for you, I guess like general question, Stephen, for you, where do you stand on the whole debate as far as if aliens are real or if they're not real?
I I haven't really thought about it until recently. Went to a screening of a Jonathan Glazer movie, Under the Skin, recently,
Yeah.
and I had never seen it before. Have you seen it?
I have not. I've heard of it. I've never seen it myself.
Oh, you gotta watch it.
Gotta
It
watch it.
is a
Okay.
one. It's a movie that I have not stopped talking about, and it messed me up. But it's about aliens, and I went into it not knowing that it was about aliens. And it's just kind of this idea that there's like Scarlett Johansson has adopted the skin of a human being and is an alien and is going around harvesting other humans in order to get skins for the other aliens. And it's not done in like spaceship, like intergalactic computers and whatnot. It's very, very um like real worldy and raw, which made it a lot more haunting. So I kind of feel like based off of seeing that movie that they could be here already.
Yeah.
But the fact that they're here, they're probably more like interested in us as like a theme park because they got to be more advanced. Like there's no way that they're coming here and being like, wow, we got to take over.
Yeah.
Otherwise, they probably would have already. They're probably like, this is really sweet and primitive. You know what I mean?
Yeah, no, I mean, I'm definitely on the side where I don't know, like where it falls, like what type of aliens are out there, but I do. I mean, the universe is so big. There's got to be other life out there that we just haven't like encountered, or maybe we have. We don't know, but yeah, I at least
Yeah.
believe that there is something else out there.
Maybe one of us is an alien right now.
Yeah, maybe,
Maybe we're
maybe.
both aliens and we're just so good at being human that we don't even know that we're imposters.
Mind blown.
Yeah.
And as far as now, I guess as far as if there were to be an alien invasion, let's say one day on Earth, after working on this series, Stephen, where do you think that you would see, or what type of role do you think that you would play if there were to be an invasion on Earth?
Oh, I feel like I'd be absolutely useless. Unless it would just be like emotional support. Like if somebody was like, "Hey, this is really effed up." I'd be like, "Yeah, and how do you feel about that?" Like I think that would be the only skill that I could contribute. I don't take full ownership on gun work because it's not like we were firing actual
Yeah,
uh you don't have to be a good marksman when you're firing blanks.
at least you'd have some idea, though, as far
That's
as
true.
what to do.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. Um, I would love to say that I would be like, yeah, I'm gonna move up to northern Canada and like live in the bush and be able to like know what berries are poisonous or not. But without our technology, I think that I would I think I'd be taken out pretty quick.
You think so? Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah.
I like to think just, and this is being a movie nerd, and it's like, oh, I've seen so many of these movies that I would like to think that I would be one of those people out there, fighting the aliens, helping humanity win. But it's one thing to think that, and then it's a whole nother thing to actually be there in that situation and for, shit hitting the fan and all this craziness happening.
Yeah.
So,
I think it would also depend on what the aliens wanted. If they were just like destroy, maybe I could fight back. But if they were like, we're here to eat, I'd go, I'm gonna
yeah.
take myself out because that's not the way that I want to go. You know?
Yeah, that's totally fair. Well, just
Mhm.
to wrap things up for you, Steven, what is next for you after this Invasion series, and where can fans just stay up to date with you moving forward?
A couple things line up that I can't say yet, but feel free to, I guess, check out my Instagram. It's at S Tracy one. I made it a long time ago. Haven't changed it. Not the greatest thing searchability, but hey, here we are. Or a really big thing for actors too. If you're wanting to champion some storytellers that you like, the funny thing is just checking out their IMDb. Sometimes where you're at on the star meter helps you land other things. So that's a fun fact. So yeah,
Yeah.
check.
Yeah, definitely make sure to put that down below in the description for you, Steven, so that way people can give you a follow and stay up to date with your work. I appreciate your time today. It was wonderful getting to talk to you about the show and some alien talk in there as well. And you are welcome back anytime in the future, man.
Oh, thank you. And you better check out Under the Skin. I think you're gonna like it.
Under the skin. Yeah, I'm gonna make a note of that then. Thank you, Steven.
Hi, I'm Stephen Tracy. I play Sergeant Reese in Invasion, and you're watching Pop Culture with Pat.